25 million. Take a second to really think about that number. It's staggering, right? Almost incomprehensible. We're not just talking about a statistic here. We're talking about 25 million actual human lives. Lives lost globally over the past few decades to one single devastating biological threat. When it comes down to global crises, honestly, very few have left a mark quite as deep or as profound as the one we're diving into today.
So, welcome to this explainer on the science and prevention of HIV and AIDS. Look, our goal today isn't just to do a history lesson. We really want to demystify the actual biology behind this crisis. Because here's the thing, when we truly understand the science, we can replace all that fear with facts. And by doing that, we can start breaking down the incredibly harmful stigmas that, unfortunately, still surround this condition today.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a clear roadmap for us today. First, we'll look at a global health crisis. Then, the biology of HIV, followed by transmission and breaking stigmas. After that, we'll hit the timeline and diagnosis, and wrap up with treatment and prevention.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, a global health crisis and the historical stakes. You know, it's actually incredibly humbling to realize just how recently this disease entered the global spotlight. It was first officially reported in 1981. I mean, in the grand scheme of human history, that is literally just a blink of an eye ago. Yet, from those very first reports, it exploded into a massive, unprecedented worldwide health crisis. It didn't care about borders, and it became crystal clear very quickly that the global medical community was up against a totally new kind of adversary.
So, to understand how it spread so effectively, let's move to Section 2, the biology of HIV, where we'll separate the virus from the syndrome.
Now, you might hear people use the terms HIV and AIDS interchangeably all the time, but they are absolutely not the same thing. HIV, which stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus, is the root cause. Biologically speaking, it's what we call a retrovirus. And what makes it so incredibly formidable is its structure. It's got this outer envelope protecting its RNA genome. Think of this envelope like a brilliant disguise, or maybe a set of master keys that lets the virus just seamlessly invade the host's own cells. So HIV is the actual invader.
AIDS, on the flip side, is the result. It stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. Basically, this is the condition that hits when a person's immune system has been severely weakened because of that HIV infection. And I want to highlight the word acquired here. That is absolutely crucial. It means you aren't born with it. It's not a congenital condition. You contract the virus, HIV, and AIDS is the resulting condition that develops if that virus is left unchecked.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how systematic the attack is microscopically. Once it gets inside, HIV goes straight for our most important immune defenders. It primarily infects these cells called macrophages, and it actively destroys helper T lymphocytes. You can kind of think of T lymphocytes as the generals of your immune system, the ones coordinating the whole defense strategy. By taking out the generals, HIV triggers a steep drop in these vital cells, leaving your overall immune system totally weakened and defenseless.
Which brings us to a really pivotal part of our explainer, Section 3, Transmission and Breaking Stigmas. It is time to put facts over fear.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. HIV transmission is highly specific. It spreads through sexual contact, transfusions of contaminated blood, shared needles, or from a mother to her child. Do you see the pattern there? It absolutely requires the direct exchange of specific bodily fluids. But just as important is how it does not spread. Let's be clear, there is zero risk from casual contact. You cannot get it from touching, from hugging, or just from being in the same room as someone.
Sadly, because of massive misunderstandings about those exact facts, an incredibly heavy and unfair societal stigma developed over the years. As the facts point out, individuals living with HIV should absolutely not face stigmatization or isolation. I mean, when society shuns people out of irrational fear, the toll it takes on their mental and emotional well-being is completely devastating. Truly understanding this science isn't just about memorizing biology. It's about basic human empathy. It's about making sure people get the support they need without being treated like outcasts.
And part of supporting people is understanding how this disease actually works over time. Let's head into Section 4, the timeline and diagnosis of this silent threat. So, one of the sneakiest, most dangerous things about HIV is its quiet nature. After day 1, the initial infection, there is this massive incubation period that can stretch anywhere from 5 to 10 years. During this huge window, someone could feel 100% fine. They might have no clue they're even carrying the virus. And that right there is exactly why getting proactively tested is so incredibly vital. Because if the virus is just left alone to multiply over those years, those crucial immune cells we talked about earlier will eventually crash to a critical low. That's when we see the onset of actual AIDS symptoms. We're talking chronic fever, significant weight loss, but the real danger, it's the increased vulnerability to what we call opportunistic infections. Since the immune system is basically offline at this point, everyday bugs that your body would normally swat away without a second thought suddenly become severe and genuinely life-threatening.
So how on earth do doctors catch this silent threat before it gets to that extreme stage? Well, the main medical tool they use is called ELISA. That's a mouthful, but it stands for Enzyme-Linked Immunosorbent Assay. Basically, this is the go-to diagnostic test used to spot the condition in a person's blood. The widespread use of this specific test is, without a doubt, one of our greatest weapons for catching the virus early on during that long silent incubation phase.
Okay, so once it's identified, how do we fight back? Let's jump into our final section, treatment and prevention, and how we take action.
I have to say, modern medicine has made some absolutely incredible strides here. These days, antiretroviral drugs are highly effective at managing the condition and prolonging life. But, and so the crucial point is this, they are not a cure. Yes, these meds can push the virus down to undetectable levels, which is amazing and lets people live long, fulfilling lives. But they don't erase the disease. If a person stops taking the treatment, the virus comes right back. It's managed, not cured.
And since there's literally no cure, prevention has to be our absolute best strategy. This is a massive team effort, guys. The medical community, society, all of us. It means going hard on educating people about safe sex. It means guaranteeing strict blood safety protocols and pushing for the use of sterile needles. And honestly, it means creating an environment where people who are HIV positive feel safe being completely open about their status. Because when people can be open, that shatters the stigma, and that openness is what ultimately prevents further transmission.
We've covered a lot today, right? The devastating history, the microscopic biology, the reality of how it actually spreads, and where we stand with treatments today. But honestly, the most important takeaway from all of this goes way beyond the science. It's about us. It's about society. If we know that casual contact is completely safe, and we know that isolating people only destroys their mental health, then the path forward is on all of us. So what does this all mean for you? I want to leave you with this question. How can you help foster a more informed and supportive environment in your own community to finally end the HIV stigma? Think about how you can champion facts over fear.